All right, we're going live now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're gonna watch. So welcome to Mother Base, everybody. I'm your co-host,
Hello.
Lolid Snake. Um, and this
I'm
is
Ichiban Misato.
yeah,
And I'm Dogstar, everyone's least favorite member of the mother-based stream.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
this video is titled "Cop Shoots Undercover Officer."
I
yeah,
knew I was about to
I
see
knew.
someone die.
Yeah, as soon as I saw you queue up a video, I knew that we'd be.
Watching live death. All right, let's see how this goes for this fella.
Put your hands where I can see them. Good, good. Good. Get out! Holly, back out! Holly, back out! Holly, back out! Oh, that was Jacob. Me.
Wait.
Are you okay?
Fuck
Get out, dude. Come on, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know it was you.
me.
Come here. Come here, Jacob.
Jesus.
Party 365! Come back in there, man!
Was that his friend?
That's someone that he actually knew. Yeah.
I can't tell what even happened. Was someone just sitting in the back of a car? And
Yeah, and he
just
basically shot him at point
fucking
blank
took it?
range.
That's
Wow.
well. I think he just got sick of walking around and he wanted some nice desk duty for a while.
Yeah.
This is a good way to do that.
He wanted to. I would absolutely shoot.
Also, they're in a
Lolland if I wanted
McDonald's
some
parking lot, which is sort of like peak Americana. Like,
Yeah.
look, they're in like a
Yeah.
new McDonald's parking lot.
I would shoot Lolland if I wanted like 6 weeks of paid vacation and some like desk duty for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
In a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
That cop probably just like has like some corns or something. Like didn't want to be on his feet so much.
Yeah.
Just wanted to sit at a desk for a while.
Yeah, so today the actual thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to do like a little like a sort of like a group video like movie night sort of thing, and we're going to watch the 1984 film The Target Is Your Brain. Hold on a minute, I'm pulling up some like information. Oh god damn it, I forgot I moved away from like that tab to read blame earlier. One second.
What's our goal for the? Are we like gonna be mystery science theatering this thing, or
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
guess.
watching?
We yeah, we can yeah, that seems like a good idea. I mean, so it's like it's the audio is in Russian, so there are like English subtitles. So yeah, we totally can just like
English subtitles.
Yeah, so we
Why are
can
we
just
going
like
on easy mode?
what do you mean? Would you rather watch a dub?
No, fuck dubs.
I would
Hell
rather learn
no.
Russian on the fly, but okay. I guess not all of us are equipped with that kind of mental firepower.
I'm not.
Um,
I certainly am not.
So Reddit.com describes the movie as a documentary about indoctrination and propaganda in the West. So this is like I don't know. I thought this would maybe be like an interesting movie to watch because it's basically like about like American like psyop tactics during the Cold War from like uh, behind the Iron Curtain.
Though, well, yeah, I think
Literally from the
Snake.
year 1984, also, which is very funny.
This is reminding me of a book I have on my shelf behind me that I should
Called How to Be Gay with Your Mom.
yeah, it's called How to Be Gay with Your Mom. But I haven't read it yet, but now it's making me feel like I should read it and present a book report on it. It is called Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. It
Oh
is
yeah, that's from the 1970s, right?
Oh hey, Dogstar, can you update the chat link with the one I dropped in
yeah.
Is that the book that's like by the two guys that worked for like Reader's Digest or like the National Enquirer or something and got to like meet with like people who profess to have like remote viewing abilities and shit in Soviet Russia?
So I do not offhand know the details of the people who wrote it, but I do know that it is the book that sort of got like the sun streak, like the men who stare at goats shit going on in our own country, because we are very convinced that what we're very convinced that Russia was doing all sorts of like witch warfare, making people's heads explode like in scanners, all that sort of shit.
Yeah. One of the more compelling like theories around that is that like all of the projects that I believe were sort of like based around
Based?
the Stanford
Based on what?
the Stanford Research Institute that were supposedly like devoted to like remote viewing and like psychic warfare and stuff was actually like a cover for like doing research on the development of the internet. That's and it's I guess like
Wow.
the basis for that like assumption is that like in a way like the internet is a form of remote viewing.
I was about to crack a joke about how everyone is remote viewing us right now, but
Yeah.
looks like wow,
Um, this actually
CIA
reminds
beat you
me.
to it.
This reminds me that I was really rummaging through archive.org the other night, and I found this really wild uh, pile of images. I'm going to throw the link to this in interrogation room if you want to throw it in chat. Um, where it's just you get to see a whole lot of fucking images of this like orbital manned like SIG-int like research center that our government was just like trying to do apparently. And there's
Wow.
some pictures in it that are
These are beautiful.
really, yeah, there's some like incredible imagery in it, and also some of them, you know, really cracked me up. Like, see if I can add this image here.
That reminds me of something else that I just remembered, but I have to go grab a book from the other room, so I'll be right back.
Like, here's this image, which might look kind of familiar if you're an enthusiast of Gravity's Rainbow. This sure looks like it's some sort of missile that you would put a man into, or perhaps a hairless German boy if you uh, are in Gravity's Rainbow, and presumably
Yeah.
this missile with a person inside hits something and the body depressurizes in the most hilarious way you can imagine.
Whoa. So so
Yeah, they
like my reference is also related to Thomas Pynchon. It's like passage from his book Bleeding Edge, which is basically about the kind of like transition of like New York from the uh, being like the center of like the Silicon Alley like web 1.0 downtown scene into the sort of like center of like American emotion collective emotional trauma like um, via 9/11.
Mm.
And I'm trying to find just like this like one quote. It's really funny. This book is like insane because oh yeah, I think I found it. Let me see. Let me find a good place to um, so the main character is like a woman who spent her entire life on the Upper West Side, and here is like a passage from where she's like talking to her like beleaguered elderly like Jewish father, and they're sort of like commiserating about like the state of New York and America like after 9/11. Let me see if I can find like a good um, spot to jump in. Uh, when the opera's over, Ernie, this is also going to be like a little bit of a long read, but I promise it'll pay off. When the opera's over, Ernie hits the mute button and spreads his hands along with a half shrug, like a basso taking a bow. So, first time I ever saw you sit through an opera. Don't know, Pop. Must be the company. I taped it for the boys too. Seems like it's up there, Allie. Cultural exchange. I noticed they've got you playing Metal Gear Solid these days. Better than that TV garbage I used to find you and Brooks staring at. Yeah, you really hated all those cop shows. If you caught us watching one, you'd turn it off and ground us. It's like they've gotten any better? What happened to private eyes, lovable criminals? Lost in all that post-60s propaganda, Orwell's boot in the face, endless prosecution and enforcement, cop, cop, cop. Why shouldn't we want to keep you girls away from that? Protect your sensitive minds. See how much it would, how much good it did. Your sister, the Lakudnik, you chasing down poor schmucks who are trying to pay the rent. Maybe TV back then was brainwashing, but it could never happen today. Nobody's in control of the internet. You serious? Believe that while you still can, sunshine. You know where it all comes from. This internet paradise of yours, it started back during the Cold War, when the think tanks were full of geniuses plotting nuclear scenarios, attaché cases and horn rims, every appearance of scholarly sanity, going into work every day to imagine all the ways the world was going to end. Your internet, back then the Defense Department called it the DARPAnet. The real original purpose was to assure survival of U.S. command and control after a nuclear exchange with the Soviets. What? Sure, the idea was to set up enough nodes so no matter who got knocked out, they could always reassemble some kind of network by connecting up what was left. Here in the capital of insomnia, it is hours yet from dawn, and this is what innocent father-daughter conversations can drift into. Beneath these windows, they can hear the lawless soundscape of the midnight street, breakage, screaming, vehicle exhaust, New York laughter, too loud, too trivial, brakes applied too late before some gut-wrenching thud. When Maxine was little, she thought of this nightly uproar as trouble too far away to matter, like sirens. Now it's always too close, part of the deal. Were you ever in on that Cold War stuff, Pop? For me, too technical. But people at Bronx Science I ran with. Crazy Yale Jacobian, nice kid. We used to go downtown, make a little change playing ping pong. He went off to MIT, got a good job with the Rand Corporation, moved to California. We lost touch. Maybe he didn't work in the blowing up the world department. I know I'm a judgmental person. Sue me. You had to be there, kid. Everybody thinks now the Eisenhower years were so quaint and cute and boring, but all that had a price. Just underneath was the pure terror. Midnight forever. If you stopped even for a minute to think, there it was, and you could fall down so easily. Some fell, some went nuts, and some even took their own lives. Pop. Yep, and your internet was their invention, this magical convenience that creeps now like a smell through the smallest details of our lives, like shopping, the housework, the homework, the taxes, absorbing our energy, eating up our precious time. And there's no innocence, anywhere. Never was. It was conceived in sin, the worst possible, and it kept growing. It never stopped carrying in its heart a bitter, cold death wish for the planet. And don't think anything was changed, kid. Maxine goes sorting through semi-exploded kernels of popcorn for what little popcorn is left. But history goes on, and you always like to remind us, the Cold War ended, right? The internet kept evolving, away from military into civilian. Nowadays it's chat rooms, the World Wide Web, shopping online. The worst you can say is it's maybe getting a little commercialized. And look how it's empowering all these billions of people, the promise, the freedom. Ernie begins channel surfing, as if an annoyance. Call it freedom, it's based on control. Everybody connected together, impossible anybody should get lost, ever again. Take the next step, connect it to these cell phones. You've got a total web of surveillance, inescapable. You remember the comics and the daily news, Dick Tracy's wrist radio? It'll be everywhere. The rubes will all be begging to wear one. Handcuffs of the future. Terrific. What they dream about at the Pentagon, worldwide martial law. So this is where I get my paranoia from. Ask your kids. Look at Metal Gear Solid. Who did the terrorists kidnap? Who's Snake trying to rescue? The head of DARPA. Think about that, huh? I'll just, I guess I'll stop there. That's kind of like the punchline that I was looking for.
Yeah, no, that's phenomenal. I mean, yeah.
Have you read any work by the media theorist Friedrich Kittler?
No, I haven't.
I would recommend taking a look at like his book Gramophone Film Typewriter, because he writes in a really entertaining way, where he's like this German theorist who just writes like he is a drunk person who has cornered you at a party to scream at you about how all media ecology was created by the army and is going to be the end of the world.
Based.
So he just like traces the lineage of like all communication through like, oh, this was made by DARPA. This is like for the army. These are all weapons.
Actually, that
These
sounds more
are
like my
still weapons.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, every time I tell her I'm streaming,
Yeah. Oh,
Literally.
we are weapons. We are weapons.
Yeah, we totally are weapons. Well, so
yeah.
I guess like that's enough chewing the fat before we actually like dive into things.
Well, I do. I'm not gonna say this on stream, but Doug, sorry, I have some fun stuff to tell you about me being weaponized a little bit later.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Too sensitive for the stream.
That's a
Wow.
cute way to tease our audience there.
Oh,
I'm
get to-
curious about what that could possibly fucking
Yeah,
mean.
they get to guess whether they're the targets or not. Stay tuned.
Yeah, Sad Gato says remote viewing the road in front of me so I can watch this right now. Shout out to Sad Gato. We love you. Dicks out for Sad Gato.
Dicks out for Sad Gato.
Gato, I hope that tonight shall not be the night that you die.
Yeah.
I just imagine like, you know, like Sad Gato like winning the lottery or like starting a small business in a historically disadvantaged predominantly African American or Latino neighborhood and getting the Kamala Harris tax breaks and etc. that just make him rich, and like in a year he's watching Mother Based, still on the road but just for fun this time.
Yeah, but his but Sad Gato's like POC owned like small businesses like trying to like crack the glass ceiling of like mass shootings and serial killers being a like white male dominated field, and ensuring that sociopathic POCs get the same opportunities that white guys got in the past.
Yeah.
Sad Gato opens the first gay-owned private military corporation,
Yeah.
and just simply calls it Gay Blackwater.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we need to have D and USA on sometime to call to talk about Gay Blackwater.
I think that we as a nation should have allowed Dr. Matthew C. Harris to actually go on that shooting spree he was threatening to do, because death sentences, I think, is the most amazing work of literature at some time.
Yeah, it's very funny that oh yeah, isn't there like an Antonin Artaud piece like quote where he said that, like the greatest piece of like Dadaist art is to just like run into a crowd with like a loaded gun.
It's certainly good art, yeah.
Fuck, what else? Oh yeah, I did like the idea of that guy, of that University of California professor just like sending everybody the Westboro High Massacre Randy Stair video. With just like a note attached to it just saying like you know, it's over for you hoes or something like that.
Based. And then you get to you join Ember's Ghost Squad.
Yeah, we all get Ember's Ghost Squad is basically like the American secular version of getting 70 virgins in heaven after you know, driving like a truck loaded up with fertilizer into like a, you know, cafe in Paris or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting rid of this crap.
All right, yeah, let's watch this doc. It's only an hour long, and we can like pause and do commentary and stuff along the way. But yeah, here we go. Also, I don't know if I might as well bring this up right at the beginning. From what I've heard about this, Adam Curtis ripped his entire aesthetic off from this film. So
yeah, I'm excited. So is it going to be like a lot of like cranberries or something like that playing over it, but like Russian cranberries, like the yeah, I don't know, whatever. But like deep, like Red Army Choir singing like.
I mean, there was like, actually like a legitimate like punk and new wave scene in Soviet Russia during Glasnost. So I don't know. I haven't seen this yet, but maybe it's something comparable. But yeah, let's dive in.
Это фильм о заговоре.
this is already what I see when I close my eyes, so I would say that this is exactly what it feels like to be an American.
Против тебя. И против вас.
Yeah, I hear this every
Против
day.
каждого из них. Заговоре, масштабы которого угрожающе растут. Это фильм о заговоре против разума.
Этот электронный прибор – оружие размером не больше, чем карманный компьютер. Конечно, вам интересно посмотреть, как им пользоваться. Сейчас я вам покажу. Дотроньтесь до буяна, вот так. Импульс подавит нервную систему. Достаточно нескольких мгновений, чтобы вызвать дезориентацию, потерю равновесия, помутнение сознания. Нет, этот человек не погибнет. Все это временно. Шок. А теперь давайте вместе поучимся, почувствуем хоть на мгновение ее на себе. О, очень хорошая штучка.
They could have used the
process of developing
Yeah, yeah.
такие средства, которые способны контролировать всякий бунтующий сброд.
Yeah, we've come so far with riot suppression technology also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Like, this looks like pussy shit.
This is pussy. They don't have the quote unquote, like, I do like that they're at least honest about, like, the rubber bullets, how it's called, like, less lethal.
Мы можем успокоить, сдержать,
Like, I like that it's
вызвать
less
шок,
lethal weaponry.
вывести из равновесия,
Yeah.
ошеломить,
And that they've just been like, all right, a bunch of people are out demonstrating and, like, not killing anyone. You should get less lethal technology and just go to town on them.
Джеймс Шейер,
Did you see
конгрессмен
that
от
one,
штата
like,
Нью-Йорк.
mini documentary by, I forget who did it, that it was about, like, the Israeli army
Всегда, когда
using,
большим деньгам не
like,
спится,
a gun
загрозящих людей.
that was
Нет
designed
демократии.
to make real bullets sound like they were firing rubber bullets.
Whoa. That seems like especially convoluted
Yeah, it was
Especially-
something like that.
when they just go to town on people. Like, I mean, like
Но заметим, насилие
this
не
is
может обойтись
pussy
без
shit. Like,
прикрытия.
NYPD has MRAPs.
Right? I was about
Like,
to
you
say,
land
like,
at LaGuardia and there's
которые
just a
придавали бы жестокости,
16-foot tall
вот такие
MRAP with
привлекательные
fucking
облики.
that weighs like 20,000 pounds and like can withstand an
расскажем о том,
IED.
Как
These
наряду с
guys-
террором против своих и чужих народов, империализм
yeah,
все
we
шире
have
использует средства, на
LRADs, we
первый
have-
взгляд, не связанные с насилием.
we're doing full human experimentation.
Yeah, I wonder if
Right.
I mean,
haven't
that's
heard
like
any-
that's just like you're like talking about like contemporary stuff. That this was made in like 1984.
I know. I
No,
was
no,
just
yeah, I'm just kind of joking. I
contemplating
mean, this
it.
is
Yeah.
it's interesting to see like the history and like development of it.
It's cool to
like-
see like a Soviet documentary just sort of starting off
Taking
at
that-
like a film piece by saying like this is what America's like, and then just leading with just like cops in like riot gear just like beating people to death.
No, it's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! Now we get into
Вспомним
culture.
любопытную закономерность. Когда кризисные явления нарастают, тут же возникают сотни эстрадных кумиров. Грандиозные
Oh
массовые
my god.
зрелища.
And suddenly VTubers appear. We had the riots, 2020 riots. Suddenly, COVID, VTubers, Ukraine, Mother Base.
Yeah.
Can you
Хроника
connect the
60-х
dots?
годов запечатлела взрыв молодежных бунтов, появление юных вождей, чьи гитары звали на баррикады. Но вспомним, когда бунт разросся, в дело вступили люди, которые заказали совсем другую музыку. Это они в стороне от баррикад поставили других кумиров.
Like
Это они
Blady.
сумели отвлечь молодежь, подменить подлинный протест вот такой иллюзией протеста.
Blady, you know why I call him Drain Gang? Because he's draining your energy.
Yeah.
I feel like this is more of a Dorian electric.
Так
No,
было
I
тогда,
agree. I'm
Yeah.
Drain. Yeah.
так и сегодня.
And Arca.
Любая
I just-
революция,
yeah, and Arca,
сексе,
yeah.
в музыке,
Hell
в
yeah.
моде, пожалуйста.
I have Blady in my mind because I was playing Blady on the way back, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I like this," and I was like, "Drainer confirmed, Drainer converted."
Yeah.
My girlfriend drains.
Мы расскажем о целом арсенале приемов, которые по сути являются тайным насилием
Yeah,
над
Arca is
личностью.
definitely not.
Yeah. As a
Насилие,
historian Electra.
As a,
которое
yeah,
зачастую заставляет
Dorian, come on the
миллионы
show.
Yeah, Dorian, come on the
думать и
show.
поступать так,
Tell us
как нужно людям,
about who you know at the
выполняющим вполне
CIA.
определенный социальный заказ.
Речь идет о дезинформации и полуправде, из которой, как известно, готовятся лучшие сорта лжи, в эксплуатации чувств и эмоций, инстинктов и предрассудков. Короче говоря, речь идет о манипулировании сознанием и поведением человека.
Fantastic. It's terrific.
Damn, Don Draper moment.
Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, your taste made a pepper out of me. He's a pepper, I'm a pepper, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, it's not for women.
Yeah,
It's not for women.
В свое время на Западе вышла книга Герберта Франка «Манипулируемый человек». Книга о воздействии рекламы на массовое сознание. Манипулирование и реклама? Да. Сегодня реклама – это не только двигатель торговли, а щедро финансируемая лаборатория и гигантский полигон, с помощью которого формируются
we could have just watched Mad Men.
представления, вкусы, иллюзии, чтобы навязать человеку не только товар, но и соответствующие мысли в систему ценностей буржуазного общества.
This is an interesting point to me because I don't know how widespread the awareness is that advertisement is literally brainwashing.
Yeah.
Like I am a paranoiac, but I think that that's defensible. And now all of the largest companies that regulate all of our media are also just selling their ability to brainwash.
So I was talking about this with my friend today, and it always really fucks with my brain that all the most dynamic tech companies that are developing the most stuff and have the most money are all somehow ad companies, which I mean I think says two things, one of which is what you just said, also the fact that nothing is created here anymore, and somehow there's money to get you to buy things when none of the big companies that people get excited about make anything. It's all about somehow it's both a hollowing out of the industrial sector and also just a building up of the brain mind share as a commodity industry.
I mean, and I think a lot of that money is just coming from good old quantitative easing at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
The money machine go burr to just magically make these companies continue to go.
And that's what we were talking about next. We talked about that right after, how that plus the NFT craze and crypto are it's not that it's insustainable from a financial perspective, because I think they've weathered two recessions that they just pump money full of, and what they did was they realized actually if you turn on the money printer and just give it to the banks and corporations, you get out of the recession. And the only downside, which they don't care about, is that poor people get poorer and rich people get richer. And
well, yeah, but another weird, I guess I mean, I'm not an economist, so I don't know the full history of it, but it seems another interesting contemporary phenomenon is that a lot of corporations that define or create a new industry never actually turn a real profit. But they're still mythologized in this weird way that sort of makes you think that they're these hubs of innovation, WeWork, Uber. It's also funny because all of these companies right now have biopics about their creators that I think are meant to sort of sell them as being these kind of Jordan Belfort type crazy Mad Men type geniuses.
I don't know. Jordan Belfort comes off as much more sympathetic of a character.
Jordan Belfort is because he just wanted to fuck and do drugs and stuff.
And he was great at what he did, which was stealing money from old people, and he was very direct about it.
Yeah, the guy that founded WeWork is just an actual psychopath,
a moron,
or a
dumbass,
right,
or the woman that started Nexium or whatever.
Idiot.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
like,
I think like the trend though from like the last like I don't know like month and a half of there just being literally like 4 biopics out right now about like there's like one about like the guy that started Uber, there's one about the guy that started WeWork, there's one about the fucking uh bitch that started Nexium, starring Amanda Seyfried. Um
what's
uh
next? See, I don't actually, I don't care, but unless you
is
want to
it
talk about it.
I
What,
can't remember is it Nexium? Oh fuck. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna like look this up real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's interesting because those stories just feel like incredibly boring, right?
Yeah.
Because those seem like shit functioning as usual, where
yeah,
even like Facebook, they like kind of made something new,
right.
in a way, and then like something like Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, that's
That was
like
awesome.
Theranos, that's what
yeah,
I was
that's just
thinking of. Yeah, Theranos.
Theranos is just like a dope story. Like
She's
that
like
rules.
she's like an
Yeah.
uglier Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
Who presumably didn't like get pegged as much.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess like the cultural property we have to blame for the most is like the social network, which sort of I guess like wrote like
Yeah.
the fucking like rule book for just like
Yeah,
valorizing
like hagiography
like
or
not
like
actually like
kind
super
of
creative like
sideways
tech pieces of
hagiography,
shit.
where it's
Um
like, oh, we're critiquing this, but it's also kind of like, oh, isn't this interesting? Where it's like, nah, man. I mean, like, I don't know, or like it's like, yeah,
Sad Gatto, I guess, like, is worried about his corporate overlords overhearing what he's blasting through the subwoofers in his trunk as he does Uber Eats deliveries, and just commented Uber is based.
I,
If you listen to a VTubing stream
don't
that's
run over
critical
another
of,
homeless person.
if you listen to a VTubing stream that's critical of Uber, they turn off tipping if you're driving for them.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. No, what was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I mean, it's like I feel like all these companies are
1
like
second, be right
being
back.
buoyed up by like all that like infinite debt, where it's like, or like infinite money printing, where it's like super cheap debt, and it's like everyone is kind of worried about inflation, so it actually incentivizes them more to invest in stuff, and so like you get just money pumped into absolutely everything,
Yeah.
even when it doesn't make any sense from like a
Yeah.
value perspective, which
Well, I
is
mean,
like really an interesting like untethering, but like at the same time it actually seems to work so far, and I'm not actually convinced. Like people like weird libertarians complain about like inflation from like a capitalist perspective, like it's going to ruin the economy. It's not going to ruin the economy, it's just going to be canceled out by even more like kind of
slush funds from
like
the
quantitative
government.
easing. Yeah, and then that's just going to it's like the clearest like kind of mechanism is like when you think about like all the foreclosures, right? So everyone foreclosed, they'd already put money into their houses, but they lost them. They went bankrupt, they lost their houses, those houses were valued at almost nothing. At the same time, they'd clearly be worth something in the future. So people like Blackstone or companies like Blackstone just come in and they have all this fucking money to like borrow at lower interest rates, and then they just buy up whole like tracts of land that will obviously be worth something after the recession goes away. And they just, so you just directly transfer wealth with stuff like that. It's crazy. Or like Boeing gets bailed out, all these guys get bailed out, and since they make very sure not to do it with like individuals, the effect of that is like completely upward wealth transferring. And so maybe that actually just works, and the only limiting factor is that eventually you like piss people off enough that they like do a revolution, or maybe you actually like get ahead of them and like develop the Boston Dynamics robots to sort of police them into oblivion if they have sort of individual thoughts or something. But I could totally see it being a robust like re-implementation of feudalism to just keep pushing quantitative easing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of seems
Yeah.
like the most kind of like despairing way that I could kind of like think of the way that like the like contemporary like Western culture is like fucked up is that we basically like solved the problem of hypernormalization because everybody is just like so subbed that like they'll never actually like stop believing in like capitalism as like um you know like the fundamental like like the water that we all swim in, that like nobody's ever going to get like pissed off enough or that like the market's just like so successful at like repackaging itself in like better ways for people to like debase themselves, that like nobody's ever going to like actually like have that like moment of like clarity that people had after like the Soviet Union finally like collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
I know that at least I can't imagine what would cause things to change at this point. Like, I can't envision anything except for like some sort of massive ecological failure.
Same. Like that's like the only alternate future that I can imagine is like literally there's like a limited nuclear exchange or like something like that, and I just end up being like a wasteland wanderer or something like that.
Yeah, we missed that window. It seems things seem to have stabilized from a few weeks ago. So
yeah, unfortunately,
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zelensky's an even bigger pussy than we
Man, it's pretty great. I was looking at like I was looking at that map of like probable targets in the USA, like under like a like full exchange scenario, and like I was like, oh, that's sick. I'll get taken out right away. That's like great.
Yeah,
like
awesome.
the research triangle sort of area or something.
Oh yeah. We're all like Dunzo. Lawlet as well, just out.
Yeah.
So it would be pretty painless, and then people get to rebuild and let the baby let's go from there. But we missed that window, so
I don't know. I feel like I might be far away enough that I could be like a super mutant or something.
They got a lot of nukes.
The survivors are not the lucky ones.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
certainly rather die.
I want to be a ghoul though.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. We might be. I mean, they've never actually done like a full. Like maybe it's like 1 in a 1,000 or something like that. It's like you turn into a ghoul. Yeah. Sad Gatto's in Merced, which is like actually like if you look on the map, it's just like a striped area, like not like great. It's just striped, like kind of indicating that you can't access it unless you glitch. So, Sad Gatto is definitely going to be like Mad Maxing it.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's going to be
Sad Maxing and Mad Maxing.
And Mad Max and Mads Maxing with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
And Hideo Kojima. And no, I mean, Sad Gatto's gonna be like in like Mad Max 1, where everyone's just like dressed like a like fucking fruit and like driving around like killing each other. Sad Gatto would love it. I would love it too, actually. Maybe I should move somewhere. I'm gonna move to Merced County now that I think, or Merced or whatever. I don't know the geography of that region. I'm not allowed to access it.
Yeah, Ichiban Masato hasn't unlocked that part of the map yet.
I haven't unlocked that part. Yeah, I can go there, but I get 6 stars right away.
Yeah, you get 6 stars right away, and you start succumbing to radiation poisoning.
My girlfriend was telling me about how like Naples apparently is like, because they have like the mafia just like will like you'll be like to the mafia, I'll be like, hey, can you like dispose of my toxic waste? And they'll be like, yeah, of course. And then they just dump it in like villages around Naples. So there's just like a bunch of places around there where people are like just developing cancer at super high rates, like in the sort of regions around Naples.
And like Naples, Italy, or like Naples?
Yeah, Naples, Italy, like the original, what do they call that? What is it? Camorristi, I guess. Yeah.
Damn.
We should start adding subliminal ads to like Mother Base. We could make so much money.
I mean, we've been doing that.
That's true.
Right? With, I believe, ISIS and gaping.
Производство иллюзий, наводняющих наш жизненный опыт, стало бизнесом Америки.
Wow.
So true.
I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, King. Come and see.
What is this video of? Because it's
them getting makeup.
It's oh, I see.
I mean, they obviously have makeup in the first shots too.
Right.
So.
My fragrance from Avon.
Transform a woman.
Same thing.
I wish, like into like a hot dragon.
Yeah. Transform a woman.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Meaningful images, some might call them.
Meaningful images only. That's why we only distribute meaningful images on meaningful images only.
Yeah, here in the West, we only deal in meaningful images.
Actually, that's one piece of intellectuals lore is I don't know who came up with the name meaningful images only, but it's a great one.
Probably Mark.
It was probably Mark.
А вот как нещадно раздувается и эксплуатируется эгоистическое стремление возвыситься над своими коллегами, друзьями, соседями. Обратите внимание, на каком фоне рекламируются эти сигареты.
Damn.
Так товар наделяется символической ценностью престижности, намекая, что эти сигареты только для людей с высоким материальным, а значит и социальным положением, манипуляторы с успехом пополняют ряды поклонников, в общем-то, ординарного товара. Все эти приемы и приемчики с успехом используются и для прославления институтов буржуазного общества.
Yeah, I do love Texaco though.
Toyota, Nissan,
That looks
Renault,
Kraftwerk.
Mercedes-Benz, or
That
Volkswagen.
is Kraftwerk.
In 1981, for the 10th straight year, we sold more vehicles outside our home market than any manufacturer in the world sold outside.
Wow, this is
its
so
home
ominous.
market. Being
Yeah,
so big
right?
over there gives us a world of resources.
Снабжая монополией
This is like
мифическими
Arsenal
добродетелями,
gear rising from the sea.
рекламщики беспринципно придумывают для них различные девизы. Так, девиз монополии General Electric, производящий, кроме всего прочего, оборудование для ракет, такой: прогресс для людей. А химический концерн DuPont заявляет в своем девизе: лучшие вещи для лучшей жизни. Разве не примечательно?
Was it DuPont that made Zyklon B before they rebranded, or was that like the Dow Chemical Corporation, or who was
I thought it
it?
was Kodak.
которым американская военщина сжигала мирное население во Вьетнаме.
God bless.
I don't remember what DuPont did, but I thought like that was like
Oh, was
IG
it-
Farben.
Мы хотим вам
right?
напомнить,
Yeah, but I think IG Farben rebrander was like Absorbo on these. Oh, Bayer. It was Bayer. Thank you, said Gatto.
политических дельцов,
IG Farben is what
лишь
Wikipedia
коммерческое
says.
предприятие.
IG Farben.
Справедливости.
Well, IB
IB
Farben.
Farben, yeah.
Мы продаем кандидатов
That's
и
my
избирателей,
own type of
как
cast
бизнес
production.
продает свои товары, заявляет председатель Национального комитета
This isn't
Республиканской
related to
партии.
anything, but when I look at Sad Gatto's avatar, I feel like they're rocking a like Diary of a Wimpy Kid
Откровенно
avatar.
приближается к коммерчеству.
On YouTube, or because
Yeah,
on
YouTube.
Discord, on Discord, it's Cortana's armpits.
Oh yeah, yes, we know. It looks. I don't know. It looks like he's posing as a little boy
Это может
for
показаться
probably nefarious
невероятным,
reasons.
но слова торговли,
Sad Gatto be grooming.
производство, сбыт.
And there's nothing wrong with
Настолько
that.
прочно
There's
вошли в
nothing wrong.
политический лексикон Америки,
Hey, we
что
do
без
run a
всяких
Discord.
кавычек, как видите,
Yeah.
вносится в
Why do
законе
you think you
серьезных
started
книг,
a Discord?
многочисленных статей, кинофильмов. Какую же реальность отражает это явление?
In my mind, an elected between the two candidates.
Я представляю себе избирателя,
Okay, so I'm just now learning that the director of this film is not only is he Soviet Ukrainian, he was actually from Kharkiv.
Wow.
So I guess we've played ourselves a little bit.
I got a
Wow.
Postmates for a Tasha W.
How is that the one fucking thing you've said this entire time?
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome, Sad Gatto.
Unmuting just to reveal personal information about.
A stranger.
Yeah.
Based. Wow. We love to see that.
между
Love
двумя
to see it,
кандидатами,
yes.
как покупателя, колеблющегося
Okay,
между
good.
двумя тюбиками
You
зубной
will finally
пасты.
pick up the brand.
Будет выбран тот сорт, который наилучшим образом запечатлится в его память. Это циничное признание не кого-нибудь, а Россера Ривса, создателя первой политической кинорекламы для кандидата в президенты Эйзенхауэра. Между двумя тюбиками зубной пасты. Посмотрим, как это делается. 1960 год. Это Джон Кеннеди. Что делает здесь, у проходной провинциального заводика, кандидат в президенты?
It is interesting to hear like a rural factory be described as a provincial factory.
Yeah.
И то же самое на улицах другого городка. К чему такой псевдодемократизм? а потому что рядом кинокамеры. И все эти улыбки, рукопожатия, интервью сегодня же вечером увидит Америка. Так создавался привлекательный образ кандидата. Прост, доступен, ну, совсем рядовой американец.
I do think they're oversimplifying JFK a bit here.
Рекомендует манипулятор общественным сознанием. Я хочу, чтобы людям нравился кандидат, даже если они не понимают ни одной его мысли, заявлял один из мастеров политической рекламы Роберт Вудман. Эти кадры сняты перед началом первых в истории США телевизионных дебатов. Кеннеди или Никсон? Демократ или республиканец?
Virgin versus Chad.
Через несколько минут их увидят миллионы телезрителей. Через несколько минут. Но еще за месяцы до этого те, кто вел кандидатов на президентский Олимп, провели многочисленные опросы. Что привлекает вас в кандидате? А вас? Что отталкивает? Никсон опытен. Это успокаивает. Но слишком ловок, это вызывает опасения. К тому же республиканцы заботятся лишь о богатых. Это возмущает. А демократы? Кеннеди находчив. Это впечатляет. Но миллионер это настораживает.
Demo Crips and
Он молод и
Republicans.
неопытен, это тревожит. И к тому же...
Okay, now that's
This is
that's
epic.
big.
Итак, сегодня они вооружены знанием общественного мнения. И поэтому все, что отпугивает, маскировать. Все, что привлекает, укрупнять.
Damn, I love how like just like
Сейчас они
rat
будут
face like
штурмовать
Nixon
своих
was though.
избирателей.
Yeah.
He was like an absolute king. He was like he made a
Их лица. Их состязания в красноречии одновременно вошли в миллионы американских домов, предлагая телезрителям хорошо продуманные наборы самых лучших личных качеств. Но были и накладки.
So Nixon made. I had asked my girlfriend about. He made a group in college because he was like so. He was so cucked. It was called like the orthogonists or something like that, the orthogonals or whatever, because they were like not cool enough to be in like the old boy clubs. Maybe he's at law school actually. Yeah.
I think
And
they were
then-
too like straight to be in the old boy clubs. Also,
Роджер Эллис.
they didn't want to do the George W. Bush shit of like jerking off in front of your.
Наша
Well,
работа.
Nixon started
Nixon
off
went-
as like a poor Quaker, and then
Yeah,
like,
and he went to
had
like
just
a
some-
regional college in like Central California for
And then
like
he went to-
undergrad.
Then he went to like Duke Law School, which like at the time was just getting started, and then he also
Yeah.
like wasn't part of any old boys clubs, so he just had a huge chip on his
Chip on his-
shoulder.
Very similar to
worked-
Andrew Johnson, honestly.
just
very
worked-
comparable
yeah, well,
figures.
Oh, really? Like, was Andrew Johnson kind of like that? I actually don't know a lot about his
Andrew
biography.
Johnson was basically like a petit bourgeois. Like he didn't come from
Yeah.
the sort of like like upper crust of like Southern
Mhm.
society. He was like the son of like a manufacturer or something like that.
Wow, that's pathetic.
And so like the whole reason basically why like Reconstruction failed under Johnson was because he was fine to basically like drop criminal charges against Confederate generals as long as they like wrote him like a handwritten letter of apology.
Wow.
And it was basically just like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you basically like committed crimes against the state, but as long as you like grovel to me, I'll like, I won't chop your head off in front of the White House, the way that like Lincoln basically wanted to before he got shot.
Damn.
So yeah,
That
he
would've
was
been great.
basically like a pussy bitch that basically just like wanted to be like fellated in exchange for like
I'm a
literally
big
like
Tina Yee.
recusing
Oh my
like war
God.
criminals. But yeah, Richard Nixon, very similar figure in that he was like basically early in his career, you could kind of consider him like an outsider because he wasn't a member of Skull and Bones. He didn't go to like an
Thank you.
Ivy League school or anything like that. But he did cozy up to the Dulles brothers pretty early
Right.
in his career in like the
Yeah.
1940s and 50s. So, and that
Yeah.
was basically like his like entry point, and was all and
Well-
through them he also like worked with like McCarthy on like the House of
but-
Un-American
but-
activities.
But he's interesting too, because then he had a sense of like how deep the old boy club ran, and he like hated it, and that's like why they like ended up like framing him with Watergate, was because
Right.
they knew that they needed to.
Yeah, and a principal member of the party that probably accused him through Watergate was a member of that very old boys club, George H.W. Bush.
Yeah. I wonder where that guy was when JFK was shot.
If you asked him, he said that he couldn't remember where he was.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But wait, I think I read this in a previous stream that you weren't like on, Misato, but have you heard like Richard Nixon's quote about being at the Bohemian Grove?
No.
I'll just reread it because it's just so funny. But
that's why I made the joke about him being too straight for the old.
Yeah, but it's not just the ratty parts of town. The upper. Wait, do you want me to do the Nixon voice again?
Yes. Oh yeah.
But it's not just the ratty part of town. The upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove, which I attend from time to time, is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. With that San Francisco crowd, I can't shake hands with anybody from San Francisco. Decorators. They gotta do something, but we don't have to glorify it. You know, one of the reasons fashions have made women look so terrible is because the goddamn designers hate women. Designers taking it out on the women. Now they're trying to come up with some more sexy things coming on again.
Damn. Wow. That's why our boy was.
That's why they Watergated him. Yeah.
That's why they Watergated him.
Yeah.
I really like how Watergate just like came out with the media being like, and that's why we're important.
Yeah, it's also like very funny to imagine like George H.W. Bush and like Joe Kennedy and like a bunch of other freaks are just like sliding a newborn baby into like the oven at the base of like the statue of Moloch, and Richard Nixon is just watching thinking like, God, this is so fucking gay. I hate this.
They're just like directly injecting, like they're just like taking pineal glands and just sucking the adrenaline out of them with like a syringe, and then like putting them straight like into their nostrils and injecting them into like a small like vein that's as close as a small artery as close as possible to their brain to get the hit like instantaneously. And like he's just like, this is some faggot shit.
Yeah, what the giant bonfire of babies that is the cremation of care.
Fucking hobos.
Yeah.
They're also sucking each other off while they do it, so he's not entirely wrong. But
yeah,
no,
totally.
He's not.
Yeah. My other favorite Richard Nixon factoid is that he had a huge crush on his wife, like, and he like propositioned her like multiple times to like go on dates with
like,
them.
You know who else did?
And she so
I'm not
like
talking about Marquis.
Well, so like in the case of like Nixon, he like asked his like future wife out like multiple times. She always turned him down. So instead, he offered to be like a chaperone on her dates with other men.
Right. Yeah.
And then like when they got married, his pet name for her was just Buddy.
That's amazing. That's actually even better than Mike Pence's mother.
Yeah,
actually, no, it's not quite as good. Mother is the funniest thing you can call your wife.
Yeah, I wish we had like an air horn so that we could make that a certified pimp move. Bing, 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 bing. This is a certified pimp move.
Being the beta cuck, it actually wins out in the end, and this is the Sigma strategy they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
So keep listening to Mother Based.
Yeah. What was that? The other the best moment from Frost versus Nixon was when they're like playing golf in between interview segments, and he's just like, "So, did you engage in fornication last night?"
That's me whenever I hang out with Lawled at what is it? Burger Apocalypse?
Burger Warfare. Yeah, Burger Warfare.
Lawled's gonna take me out to Burger Hall of Mordor.
Yeah, they have a dessert called Yellow Cake.
Do they actually?
Their kids meal is called Child Soldier.
I can't tell what you're joking about, because I will tell you that in Hanford, Washington, where they made the plutonium for the nuclear weapons, like everything is atomic themed. That's where like Mad Dog Mattis was like born and like raised. And like it's just they have the most contaminated nuclear waste site in the world there. And they have like They have like, you go to a bar and it's like, we got brews from the local atomic microbrewery, and it'll be like, you know, like the Nagasaki special and stuff. I mean, it's like they just like are so fucking. They have nothing else to cling on to.
Yeah,
like,
it's. I mean,
culturally, and so they're just like, yeah, like fucking like nuclear Armageddon.
it's the same thing around like Chernobyl. Like there was a convenience store that I
Right.
went to in the town of Chernobyl that was called Roadside Picnic, which is the
Oh my
title
God.
of the novel that Stalker's based off of.
Yeah.
Base. Damn, this is great. I'm glad we finally got the better JFK and Obama.
Yeah.
He didn't force us to do this.
Те, кто постарше, помнят. Этот самый обаятельный президент был убежденным антикоммунистом. Человеком, который еще в 50-е годы проталкивал в Конгрессе позорный закон, направленный против инакомыслящих. Закон о внутренней безопасности. У истоков которого, парадокс, стоял кандидат-соперник. Гладковыбритый Маккарти, называли тогда Ричарда Никсона. Так, четверть века назад...
Roberta from Black Lagoon. I still need to watch Black Lagoon, responding to the chat. I'm assuming that's the main character. I do want to watch it because she's a purple hair mommy from the 90s.
Oh yeah, Black Lagoon is that anime with like basically like a Misato like analog, right?
A Misato analog, so I know I have to watch it.
I started reading Blame earlier today, which was very good.
That
so far.
Kasui, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna put these on my list. I'm gonna watch them, and we're gonna talk about this. I'm sorry. Thank you, Enligma.
Mech Hisui, that's
Cabal actually loves NTR enthusiasts. Sorry.
Mech Hisui, that is, you know, that the person in the Discord that only talks about Neko arc and one other character?
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm aware of who Enligma is.
Yes, but Mech Hisui is the character that's not Neko arc that they're fascinated by. That's not like an anime.
I see.
You're not gonna believe this.
Are you talking to us or to a customer you're delivering Uber Eats to?
Oh, to you guys. I just saw another person like snapped up in the street, and I was like, no way.
What happened?
I don't know. I didn't see it happen.
Merced is like
a corpse.
In like 10 years, like the Chinese factory accidents, like threads on 4chan/GIF will be replaced with like Merced like street like violence, street carnage, and like
this
all the comments will.
This is in Long Beach. No violence ever happens in Merced.
Oh, okay, all right, Long Beach, and they'll just be like, in Long Beach they don't value human life, like OSHA would have a heart attack.
Like if the cartel, if we stop getting footage of like cartels vivisecting people, the YNC will just post like Merced videos.
Or Long Beach.
Oh yeah,
Damn, that's the karma that like accrues when you start as like a McDonnell Douglas kind of manufacturing zone.
Oh, cute dog. Love these dogs.
Roberto is part of Fart? That's based though. Oh, Revy's I think the main one. Yeah. I'm gonna Google it.
She'd been my first lady since long before the White House. I can't imagine life without her.
Wow, very based character art for Roberta. Thanks, Enligma.
Но помнит ли Америка еще об одной встрече с судьбой? С человеком, которого даже американские газеты изображали вот так. Правее Барри Голдуотера в Америке трудно было сыскать. На выборах ястреб с треском провалился.
Yeah, looking at Revy images, I think that's basically like kind of my target look.
Yeah, Roberta is extremely hot.
Also Roberta, yeah, but I think Revy is more what I'd actually end up with.
Встреча с судьбой. Потом были и другие речи. вот такие.
Our objective is the victory parade along the
Нашей
streets of
целью
Damn, wow.
должен быть парад победы на улицах Ханоя. И такие.
We can spread asphalt over that entire
Мы можем залить асфальтом эту страну.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Стоянки автомобилей и успеть вернуть свои войска домой к Рождеству.
And then
Подобные взгляды, конечно же, не остались без
it's
внимания
funny with this
благодаря
period of like American politics that they could be talking about another country or just America and the same. They also wanted to do that domestically.
Yeah.
Like my favorite song, "Tear Down Paradise," put up
Put up a
parking lot.
parking lot.
предвыборной кампании
If Misato didn't
1984
have daddy issues, interesting.
Режиссура, которой, по словам
Damn, I do love her daddy issues though.
была доведена до совершенства.
I think that's just been arranged. God bless.
Вспомним слова американского социолога Бурстина.
If a correct image can choose a president or sell a
Если
car,
правильный имидж может избрать президента или продать автомобиль, религию, сигареты, одежду, то почему он не может сделать и саму Америку, американский образ жизни, товаром, продающимся по всему свету?
So true.
По всему свету. Идеи Америки, политику Америки, блистательный имидж Америки. Это может показаться странным, но стоит тому или иному претенденту прийти к власти, как создается впечатление, что он время от времени страдает забывчивостью. Вспомним, президент
My
Трумен
boy.
отдал приказ уничтожить в атомном огне мирное население Хиросимы и Нагасаки. И тем самым писал одну из самых позорных страниц в истории Америки. Но это не помешало ему заявить:
nations of the world apply to the United States.
народы мира обращаются к Соединенным Штатам за доброй волей, силой и мудрым руководством.
Enigma, we all love maids.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to fucking blast this pig.
Oh my god.
Pig, that pig's
Hell yeah. I did not actually know that they did this. Wow.
Jesus fucking Christ.
This is Masato's new job, by the way, everybody.
Just got a job. I'm really excited about it.
They're still doing this in New Mexico like once a week.
Yeah.
Однако это не помешало президенту Эйзенхауэру на
Who do you
весь
think
мир
made the
послать
bacon?
американскую систему. Систему, способную на бесчеловечные опыты, даже на
It
собственном.
honestly would have been very base to get to have been alive, like when you could just like hang out on like the roof of a hotel in Las Vegas and just watch like nuclear explosions happen like 90 miles away.
Нет, не страдал забывчивостью президент.
Yeah, just really living that Howard Hughes life.
Правда,
Yeah.
неминуемо оттолкнула бы и тех, кто действительно верил в американскую систему, в американский эксперимент. Джон Смитерман, морской пехотинец, верил свято. И надо было его искалечить, чтобы он навсегда перестал верить. Пусть эти картинки не введут вас в заблуждение. Линдон Джонсон был очень жестоким президентом. Это он дал зеленый свет открытой агрессии во Вьетнаме. И это в его адрес неслись проклятия американских студентов. Эй, ЛБДЖ, сколько ты сегодня убил детей? А в ответ...
How many kids did you kill today?
Как по прямой указке президента маскировалась правда об одной из самых грязных войн. Начало агрессии. Это не война. Это конфликт. Это не войска. Это советники.
Wow. Kind of hypocritical that they do this, and then a few years later, Putler is out there doing a denazification of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about Russian hypocrisy, folks. I think my favorite thing about like media coverage of like Putin is that like it's sort of an extension of Godwin's law, where instead of like it's gone beyond like being like he's like Hitler, and like instead they're like, you know, even Hitler. Like I've seen so many like things
Oh, yeah,
like mainstream
totally.
media
Yeah.
where, like that where like the central like thesis of the article starts with even Hitler. which is awesome. It's so cool because it's like it's already like
Yeah.
stupid enough to be like comparing like the Ukraine like war to like anything like the Holocaust, but
Yeah.
like it's
Anything.
like
Yeah.
it's like so cool to like go beyond that and just like try to like immediately argue that this is like worse.
Yeah. Hashtag normalized Nazism.
Hashtag all wars matter.
Yeah.
One interesting thing, we were talking about Israel earlier, and one interesting thing with their like weapon systems is they actually have like a very potent anti-tank missile system. It literally it fires like basically a type of shaped charge, but instead of like usually shaped charges like on RPGs like basically only send a jet of like molten metal like a few inches and then it can burrow through like armor. But like these are like shaped charges which instead of making it that focused, they basically end up pushing like a copper like plate into like a projectile. And so what it does is it like quickly like detects like the source direction of a missile and then like a RPG or something, and then fires out like an array of projectiles in like a shotgun blast like kind of pattern, and then like basically defeats like the RPG. And it also like detects the direction of like launch so that the tank can rapidly swivel and like fire on the target, which is kind of interesting because that's the kind of thing that would like be really effective in like it's like Russia had it right now. But it's also interesting because like it doesn't work if you have like a large array of missiles or something. It's like really like an anti-insurgent type thing. But the U.S. also equips them. They buy them from Israel. It's a very like potent, it's a very potent like tank survivability system for like urban warfare against insurgencies.
I'm interested in this section. We're getting into like the sort of like anti-drug sort of like segment of the documentary.
Damn, I'm glad we fixed all this stuff.
Yeah.
Since this was made. Cool how we turned it around.
Вот про эти-то годы без тени смущения президент Никсон заявлял: ни одна страна во всей истории никогда не была так близка к достижению справедливого общества. Прошло 2 десятилетия. За эти годы руками и умом американского народа сделано многое. Но разве приблизилась Америка к идеалу справедливого общества? Разве и сегодня насилие и ужас только на экранах кино и телевидения? Разве действия Ку-клукс-клана не демонстрируют безнаказанность расизма? А разве это не в Америке только по официальным данным 50 миллионов
Got your ice cream ready. Have a great night.
Сам президент убеждается в масштабах этого бедствия.
Learn how to survive what's coming on the earth, so we can better serve God's people for His name's sake.
А разве бывшие псы Вьетнамской войны сегодня
Damn,
не
that's really me.
воспитывают новые поколения убийц?
You just like me for real?
Руку вот так. Держи пистолет крепче. Палец на крючке и смотри прямо. Так, крепче. Огонь. Представь себе, это человек. Сделай 3 дырки в сердце.
19 тысяч убийств. Около 700 тысяч вооруженных нападений. Каждые 3 секунды ограбление, кража, изнасилование. Такой печальный итог.
Wait, isn't there like a line from like the beginning of like the Sylvester Stallone movie from like around the same time, Cobra, where Cobra, there's like a line that's like in America there is a murder every 30 seconds, a rape every 15 seconds, a violent mugging every 13 Wait, I want to find it because it's like a very funny kind of like juxtaposition between this like
the fall of
piece
FPS
of like
Russia.
a
And how many? God, I feel like your YouTube recommendations page is like the most immediate place to figure out whether you're like a candidate for an FBI watch program.
yeah. Oh, I think
Like
this is it. Watch this real quick. Well, not this video, not this commercial, but
boo.
Yeah.
One day,
watch this.
you are going to discover my block.
Yeah.
Shut up. Watch this.
God, I can't wait to do another episode on what was that? What was that? New York?
There's a burglary every 11 seconds.
It's basically the same move. Just let me see if I can enable. Oh, unavailable. Damn. Just watch this.
In America, there's a burglary every 11 seconds. An armed robbery every 65 seconds. A violent crime every 25 seconds. A murder every 24 minutes. And 250 rapes a day.
Whoa. Wow. This is powerful.
So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's funny that it's like Target Is Your Brain is like pretty explicitly like anti-American propaganda, and Cobra is explicitly like pro-cop propaganda, but they're basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like one is saying like there's all these like violent crimes in America and that's horrible, and the other one is saying there's all these violent crimes in America and we need like cops to commit like acts of extrajudicial violence to like solve the problem.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It makes like assault on precinct 13 feel like downright innocent, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, they're trying, you know, they're just saving themselves.
Yeah.
В какой еще цивилизованной стране можно увидеть такое отвратительное зрелище? Партии жестокости в исполнении прекрасного пола.
Hell yeah.
Но, может быть, здесь
All right.
лучше, чем там, в очереди из 9 миллионов лишних людей.
Damn, I love women.
Занятия не от того, что с жиру бесится, а потому что лучше так, чем вот так. Или вот так, среди голодных в очереди за благотворительной похлебкой. Послушаем диктора американского телевидения.
In the back streets of suburban Washington, a group of community workers launches a dawn raid. Their target, a huge rubbish bin belonging to a supermarket.
На задворках Вашингтона группа добровольцев провела кампанию по сбору отбросов супермаркетов. Эти поборники добра собирают отбросы, чтобы накормить сотни голодных и бедняков, число которых растет в каждом городе. Эти продукты съедобны, утверждают добровольцы. Для доказательства они пригласили на ленч конгрессменов.
Еда очень вкусная и прекрасно приготовлена. Как жаль, что многие бездомные и голодные не могут так есть каждый день. Пища из отбросов. Голодные, бездомные. Ну а президент? Я всегда верил, что эта страна заселена избранным народом.
I also believe that.
Этот
Yeah,
архитектурный
Calvinist.
вопрос для избранного народа уже вошел в историю благодаря телевидению, зафиксировавшему открытие ночлежки, редкий дар американского правительства. И теперь 300 из 3 миллионов бездомных получат крышу над головой.
I will say it's pretty based, given like the bad rap that like Eastern European and like Soviet architecture gets in like America. Which, by the way, my fucking grandma lives in one of those buildings and it's great.
Появится министр здравоохранения Маргарет Хеклер. Смотрите,
Love
сядьте и
seeing them
подскажите.
fire back and just be like, yeah, look at this
Возьмите
shithole.
ложку и улыбнитесь. Они берут ложку и улыбаются.
This is the absolute fucking state of America has that.
Так создаются
Yeah.
наркотики лжи. Так даже на горьких судьбах людей создается блистательный имидж самого гуманного и заботливого правительства. Знаете, как сами американцы называют свое правительство? Правительством большого бизнеса для большого бизнеса и состоящее из людей большого бизнеса. Каждый пятый в президентской рате – миллионер. И именно они заказчики и дирижеры пропагандистского оркестра.
Couldn't really hear you.
А заодно и маньяк-поджигатель на посту пожарного. Так назвали его 18 американских сенаторов. Чарльз Уик, директор UCA, информационного агентства США. Конечно, тоже миллионер. Что же за ведомство он возглавляет? UCA – это 206 отделений в 125 странах мира. 10 тысяч сотрудников. Десятки радиостанций, в том числе и «Голос Америки». Колоссальные тиражи пропагандистской литературы, среди которой и журнал «Америка». Почти $1 миллиард в год бюджет этого Министерства дезинформации. 1/5 часть всех средств, ассигнуемых США на внешнеполитическую пропаганду, на обработку сознания народа. Это с легкой руки UCA обложки западных журналов заполняют такие картинки. С благословения правительства и самого президента, открыто объявившего крестовый поход против нас с вами. Мы оставим марксизм-ленинизм на пепелище истории. И вот такие игры на границах наших союзников – это тоже угроза. А как оценить подобную радиошутку? Мои соотечественники и американцы, я рад сообщить вам, что только что подписал законодательный акт, который навсегда ставит Россию вне закона. Бомбардировка начнется через 5 минут. И тут же на страницах журнала «Америка». Мы протягиваем руку дружбы народам Советского Союза. Искренне ваш Рональд Рейган. Конечно же, многое, о чем пишет журнал, с тем и связано, что это издание обращается к нам. Заметим, умеют издатели журнала рисовать иллюзорные, манящие облики благостной, глянцевой Америки рая земного, где каждого ждет неограниченная свобода и счастье. И если верить этому журналу, то счастливы даже американские безработные. Эти сменили профессию. Другие довольны пособием. А эти уже коммерсанты. А этот сменил профессию. А этот доволен пособием. А эти уже коммерсанты. Нет, не для них. И не для этого человека издают журнал «Америка». Он рассчитан на нас. Чтобы нажить политический капитал, все средства хороши. Одна из главных ролей в пропагандистском оркестре принадлежит
Yeah, Phoebe JCP, Soviet architecture is great.
True.
I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm making some mozzarella sticks.
Если вот так живут в Америке.
I zoned out for a second, and Phoebe's comment brought me back in. Thank you, Phoebe.
America did invent cringe, yeah?
Вот как живет Америка.
Misato is womaning the channel.
Это не Америка. Вот она. Вот она Америка.
Phoebe says, y'all should have me on to talk about Soviet animation. I am down for that. I know I certainly like talking about Why can't I remember his name? The guy who did like provincial school and like alternative uses of the snout. Really cute and good. Ivan Maximov.
Америка. Америка. Так создаются, тиражируются блистательные имиджи беспроблемной страны. С тем, чтобы вместе с ними продавать свои мифы, свои идеи, свою политику. На все стороны света. Причем иногда продавать за бесценок. В 70-е годы, например, американские телефильмы продавались в Польше подозрительно дешево. В 60 раз дешевле, чем в Франции или Канаде.
Oh yeah, this is really interesting.
Откуда такая щедрость? У торговцев идеологическим товаром своя особая бухгалтерия. Но есть пропагандистские услуги, которые они предлагают и вовсе бесплатно. Для жителей Праги и Будапешта, для Берлина и Софии, для Ленинграда и даже для самого отдаленного горного аула.
Здравствуйте, дорогие радиослушатели.
170 миллионов в год стоит Америке этот бескорыстный, задушевный голос.
Радиостанция «Голос Америки» входит в информационное агентство Соединенных Штатов, которое призвано обеспечивать цели внешней политики Соединенных Штатов Америки. Что по этому поводу пишут сами американские пропагандисты? Мы пропагандистское агентство, заявляет заместитель директора «Голоса Америки» Николайдес. А пропаганда – это своего рода реклама. Поэтому задача «Голоса Америки» в том, чтобы продавать свой товар. Какой же товар продает «Голос Америки»? У Чукаса, специалиста по теории пропаганды, сказано еще более откровенно. С помощью радиопропаганды следует осведомленного человека превратить в неосведомленного, информированного в дезинформированного, убежденного в сомневающегося. Ради чего это делается? Чтобы убедить другие народы думать и поступать так, как это нужно Америке. Так говорил бывший руководящий работник информационного агентства Теодор Соренсен. А что же нужно Америке? Изменить структуры коммунистических стран. Это говорит уже государственный секретарь Соединенных Штатов Америки Шульц. Наверное, поэтому-то и называл бывший президент Соединенных Штатов Америки Картер систему зарубежного вещания одним из ключевых элементов американской внешней политики.
Повторение этой передачи вы можете слушать в пятницу в 19:30 по Владивостокскому времени.
Сейчас очередное чтение из Священного Писания. Сказал Иисус: «Мир оставляю вам».
Голос Америки, Вашингтон. Вы прослушали программу «Искусство сегодня».
Наше время истекает, и до следующей встречи в эфире. Спасибо.
Вот обратите внимание. «Голос Америки» стремится к тому, чтобы его передачи звучали доверительно, задушевно, даже интимно, чтобы в них слышался тон, так сказать, гостя в вашем доме. В психологии этот прием называется созданием «мы-чувства». С его помощью слушатели как бы сближаются с диктором «Голоса Америки». Таким способом создается определенный психологический фон, на котором легче внушить слушателям, или, как говорят американцы, легче продать нужную идею или настроение. А теперь давайте послушаем, какие идеи, что за Америку нам продают.
Государство всеобщего благоденствия.
Общество равных возможностей.
Свободный мир.
Glad we got rid of all that shit.
Yep. And that tradition carries on to today with the parasocial relationships created by such good programs as Mother Base.
Mother Base, brought to you by Radio Free America.
Yep.
Radio Free Europe.
Что означает блестящая неопределенность или блестящее обобщение.
Phone bad.
Этот прием вообще типичен для
Thank you, Sad
американской
Gato.
пропаганды. Посмотрите, как называют американские вояки свои атомные бомбы. Иволга, Наваха, Гончая, Малыш.
It's like what we always talk about with how everything is either called something like Peacekeeper or like Thor's Revenge.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love this country. I know we're ragging on it, but this country's awesome because like we don't even try to not be like 100% schizo on everything we do.
Yeah.
Like it's the most schizo fucking country in the world in like history
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
So
imagine
cool.
being like a Yemeni goat herder and being blown up by a missile that has "I'm Missile Rick" written on the front of it.
As I'm Missile Rick, the missile is called
Yeah.
Friend Maker 6.
Yeah, the love
It is
bringer.
launched from a platform called Child Predator 8.
But it's launched by a non-binary person.
And it's launched by a non-binary person of color.
Yeah.
And it has
Who's
a
wearing a
sailor
fursuit.
A Bosnian in a fursuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, that on the missile is painted a Sailor Jerry rendition of a hyper furry with 6 massive tits and a massive penis.
Humongous fucking knot.
Нас решили натравить на чернокожих террористов из
Damn.
Южноафриканской республики.
As terrorists?
Нам бесстрастно расскажут о насилии и крови. И это правда, потому что кровь действительно пролилась. Но при этом нам никогда не напомнят об этом.
I wonder if there's like a documentary on Gerald Pohl that we could watch.
Look into it. The other documentary that I'd like to watch on stream sometime is We Live in Public about Josh Harris.
What?
Sorry, I burped. What did you say?
We Live in Public about Josh Harris.
Oh, yeah. I am curious
Или
about that.
усеченной правды. И этот прием очень близко соседствует с приемом молчания. Умолчит голос Америки об этих тренировках с ряжеными в советскую форму американскими солдатами.
Whoa.
Wow. Damn, this is like Sad Gatto doing OP4 for LAPD.
Умолчит, что каждый час Америка тратит на вооружение $24 миллиона.
Wow. Damn, in the 80s. That's amazing. Damn, dog, sorry, I got some more related stuff to talk to you about with this. Want to catch up?
Let's do it. Let's do it soon.
You're gonna love it.
Что, по словам контр-адмирала Ларока, только американский флот мог бы вгонять тысячи ядерных зарядов в СССР по крайней мере 3 месяца подряд.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Умолчат, но при этом станут упрекать в несговорчивости наше правительство. Можно было бы приводить еще много примеров. Но все они только бы подтвердили, что голос Америки
Brady Yemen. AGM correction needed.
внешней политики Вашингтона и создание ложного представления об американском образе жизни, очернив при этом социализм и социалистический образ жизни.
Еще в 1932 году английский писатель Олдос Хаксли в своем фантастическом романе «Новый смелый мир» описал леденящие душу картины общества, запрограммированного элитой. Особая биохимическая обработка человеческого эмбриона, соответствующая гипнопедия в младенческом возрасте позволяет вырастить идеальные с точки зрения властимущих индивиды. Что это? Фантазия автора или прозрение? Ее имя Джоан Юар. Она объект тайных экспериментов ЦРУ.
Я пытался бежать, но меня настигли, вернули обратно, погрузили в состояние сна на 23 дня.
Его зовут Джован Логи. Он тоже объект для опытов по психическому программированию.
Я сделала попытку самоубийства. Чувствовала себя зависимой. Я не могла больше этого переносить.
Верма Орликов. И она в числе 53 человек, которые стали жертвами тайных экспериментов ЦРУ. В этом госпитале Элан Мемориал пациенты, обратившиеся за квалифицированной медицинской помощью, были без всякого предупреждения подвергнуты бесчеловечным опытам. Джон Киссингер был в ЦРУ ответственным за программу под кодовым названием «Проект МК-Ультра».
Мы должны были побыстрее найти пути, а именно химические, психические или другие средства, способные оказать воздействие на поведение человека.
Их травили наркотиками.
Phoebe says acid is a tool of American capitalism. That's why I want to do a bunch of it and never contribute anything. That's how I feel about homosexuality.
Так выглядели сеансы гипнопедии. Им подсаживали чужие мысли, чужую волю, чужие эмоции.
They were seated.
И наблюдали. Наблюдали за тем, как они забывали свои имена.
Imagine being seated by the CIA.
Как их постепенно захватывал по сей день не покидающий страх. Все они в результате чудовищных опытов пожизненные инвалиды. Полигоны для бесчеловечных экспериментов превращены сегодня и тюрьмы США. У заключенных удаляют, разрушают целые участки мозга. Для улучшения поведения. Так в этой стране достижения психохирургии используют для решения социальных, правовых и моральных проблем.
We're gonna get like a new type of lobotomization that like prevents you from being a straight male.
Еще один жуткий рецепт на завтрак.
Yeah.
God, I hope
Called
not.
orchiotomy.
That's what Biden is gonna be doing.
Biden is gonna force that on
people. Животных ради устройства, связанные с компьютером, и на расстоянии управлял их поведением. Профессор убеждает, подобные методы.
Wow, Phoebe pulling a even Hitler. So you're right this time.
Залог тому успешно проведенные опыты в клиниках.
No, Phoebe in the comments, it's different. We just financed the Nazis.
Oh, that's a great frame.
Запечатлели эксперименты фашистующих ученых над американскими военнослужащими.
Yeah, you know you have a banger of a documentary when you have clips of like terrible experiments performed on like prisoners or like soldiers.
Soldiers, yeah, being committed by like literal like Nazi war criminals.
So I am Dr. Joseph Frengel, and I am here to help you with your headaches.
Joseph Frengel was the guy. Joseph Frengel was the guy who had all his whole
picking up
family in the
Craig
basement,
R.
right?
and the
Yeah, I'm picking up for Joseph Mengele Jr.
Yeah.
You got your Bonchon order.
I got your double order of Krispy Kreme dozen original glazed.
But that actually reminds me of something funny that I'll show after the doc's over.
Oh God. Dogstar, what were you saying?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Против атаки вертолетов сверху тоже красный крест. Я монтирую еще перископ. И мы едем в направлении к Рейну. Здесь наверху тоже амбразура. Если появится советский патруль, я смогу легко себе помочь. Смотрим, какова обстановка. И если она становится абсолютно восточной, то мы движемся во Францию. Я уже получил визу. Уже? Да.
Thank you.
Пока мы погрузимся на судно и в Аргентину. Я в Аргентину. Ведь Южная Америка все же не участвует в мировых конфликтах.
Этот до безумия запуганный советской угрозой человек – жертва манипуляторов от политики. Как видите, могущественные силы, скупая талантливых и бездарных, добропорядочных и бессовестных исполнителей, продают не только зубную пасту и религию, президентов и сигареты. Не только это. Вот они, жертвы психологической обработки. Дети и взрослые в самой Америке, запуганные советскими ракетами. Вот они, люди, запрограммированные манипуляторами общественного сознания в Польше. Вот они, обманутые западной пропагандой, наши бывшие соотечественники, инженеры, педагоги, врачи. Помните, на прицеле и ваш мозг. Помните. Но помните и то, что империя внушения не всесильна. Она боится разума. Помните, она боится разума. Помните.
And that's the show.
Damn, kind of fucked up how they stole Adam Curtis's whole like flow right there.
It kind of fucked up how like they ripped off his like whole thing.
Yeah, they bit the drip.
I feel like I'm gonna have to watch that again because I just cannot focus watching that like on voice chat. I don't
Sorry.
Think.
Yeah, same.
No, it's not your fault. I think it's my brain.
No, I feel kind of the same way. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Definitely. We should all, including our one to two viewers, rewatch that without the background chatter of three just absolute dipshits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was very cool.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I wanted to bring up in addition to this article. So
I just glad it's not a video of someone being killed on like.
So you know what's been in the news lately is the next like World Cup is being held in Qatar, which seems like a terrible idea because it's a country where like it's like 115 degrees like most times of the year. So not really like a great place to have people playing an outdoor sport. And lo and behold, who do they get to design the soccer stadium? They got
Albert Speer.
Nazi named Junior.
Albert Speer Jr.? Wait, they got his kid?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is not a joke.
This is not a joke. This is literally in the New Yorker. Yeah, this is literally designed by Albert Speer Jr.
Well, I missed the Jr.
Who is also an architect.
Whoa, I thought this was going to be about like his plans for Berlin, but no, this is wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
And I like that the New Yorker is just like, yeah, this is complicated.
Yeah, it's a very complicated, it's a very nuanced subject.
Do we wait?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull. Let me see how many people have
Speer
died so
Jr.,
far.
an 82-year-old with a
building
perennially serious expression and a fondness for energetic hand motion, is one of Germany's best-known urban planners. He has risen to the top of German planning world over the past 50 years, thanks to his reputation for sustainability and human-scale architecture. And despite being
revealed,
those
6,500 migrant workers have died in Qatar.
in like the construction of just the
World Cup,
arena.
Dad would have wanted.
Yeah,
They would
and
have
just
loved that. He would have been like, I never thought about Indians, but like they should also definitely have been part of like this grand project of my good friend Adolf.
just listen to like the weight that like the middle section of this sentence carries.
God,
He has
it's
risen to the
psycho.
top of the German planning world over the past 50 years thanks to his reputation for sustainability and human scale architecture. And despite being the son of Hitler's favorite architect.
That is the most buried lead I have seen in a
Okay, yeah, well, so Phoebe is asking who is that, because presumably many other people also bearing the lead. Like speaking of bearing the lead, many people presumably don't know who this is. So it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome that they don't put that in the headline, because
Yeah.
most people do not know who Albert Speer is. So that's so cool.
Yeah, Albert Speer was like capital
Like
T,
the guy that designed like the German pavilion for like the Berlin World's Fair.
And he had a whole plan for like how to rebuild like Berlin so that it had like a Capitol dome that was like 16 times bigger than like any other like fucking.
This is literally him with with Hitler wearing a Nazi armband.
He loved this. He loved Adolf. I mean, this guy was like he was just super Nazi fucking like architect, like
here's a fucking figurine
king
of him.
Yeah, like wow, that's awesome. I would love that on my mantle.
His most famous, I think, theoretical idea was the idea of ruin value, which you may have heard of.
Oh yeah, ruin value is pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, like it's not like but I mean, it's just so cool that they like hired him to like build this, to design this thing that would like inevitably like just kill through like absolute dehydration, like and in fact did end up killing like literally thousands of like Indian migrant workers. That's like absolutely perfect.
I thought his didn't the New Yorker say he was a humanist or something like that? I already forget.
His son was his reputation for sustainability and human scale architecture. I don't understand what human scale architecture means. Does that mean buildings that people can fit inside of?
Yeah, what
is this, a building for humans?
Mean? Is that like cottage core but for academia?
Yeah, what is that? What does it mean to build human scale architecture when you're making a stadium like for the world? I don't know.
Yeah, it reminds me of like if like the ceiling for Walmart was like closer to my head or something, instead of being like 20 feet above me for like literally no fucking reason.
Well, you know what? Thank God it is so high above me. I love the open. Walmart's the only good thing about America.
I basically feel like I'm outside when I'm in Walmart, but I feel safe at the same time. Which is how I don't feel when I'm outside. I feel small and threatened. If anybody's interested in a very nuanced film about the legacy of Albert Speer, I highly recommend the 1987 movie The Belly of an Architect by Peter Greenaway.
Oh, is that about him? I never watched that.
Well, so what it's about is it's about a architect who is planning
Wait, hold on. I'll be right back. Hold that thought. My mozzarella sticks are done.
All right.
God, no, this is a stream.
It's not like there aren't 22 other hours in a day where you can literally eat as many mozzarella sticks as you want.
Yeah. Well, the idea of ruin value, since I wasn't able to communicate, that was the idea of caring a lot about what a building will look like after it's destroyed.
After it's destroyed, yeah, which is like I think like in like the sort of post 9/11 world, I believe has kind of like in like that concept is kind of like increased in conceptual interest a little bit. What's the name of that conceptual artist that like jerked off under like that floor? Vito Acconci.
Italian.
Yeah. I saw Vito Acconci do a talk like 10 years ago where he talked about how like the only.
Okay, sorry, I got my mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. Okay, shut up. We're talking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a conversation. So Vito Acconci had this like concept in this like talk that I saw him do like 10 years ago where he talked about how like the only reasonable way to like design buildings in like post 9/11 environment is to like design buildings that look like they've already been blown up. which is like kind of interesting and kind of preempts, I guess, like the whole like ruin core aesthetic that Albert Speer was into.
I think it's really funny to like taking that direction. Like if that is the idea that you get out of it, as opposed to like maybe don't
Maybe
create
correct
all
your
of
like
these
ideology so that you're not like going to like create people that would want to blow up buildings in the first
right,
place.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, well, that's off the table. So what else should we do? Let's pre-destroy all of our buildings
Yeah.
so they can't be destroyed. So
Yeah.
retaliation is less possible.
Have you Dogstar, have you ever seen like the press conference that Donald Trump did where he gave his proposal for like the rebuilding of the World Trade Center, where he was just like he just wanted to rebuild it as it existed before 9/11, but to make the towers taller and impervious to being blown up by airplanes.
Wow.
And make them a little more dick-shaped.
No, it's like let me see if I can find like the press conference, because the video is like pretty funny.
It's a great proposal.
Yeah.
It's a it's a modest proposal.
Man, your
Yeah, here it
recommended
is.
page is almost as based as mine.
This is the mother-based recommendation
After
page.
saving with customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual, I customize everything. Like Marco's
Wow.
backpack.
Yeah, watch this. This is great. I love this.
Am I supposed to be able to hear something?
You should be.
Yeah.
It's like
Can you
there's
hear stuff?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Oh, I don't.
Are you watching the stream on Discord?
Yes.
Check the volume. Maybe try stopping and starting.
It shouldn't be
I
commercial
have.
development. It really
Oh,
should just
now
be
I
a park.
do.
Just grass, trees, place for meditation. He really isn't interested in that kind of thing, I don't think.
watch.
Good morning. Welcome to Trump Tower. It's an honor to have all of you with us. If we rebuild the World Trade Center in the form of a skeleton, Freedom Tower, the terrorists win.
He's right.
Yeah,
He is
he's
right.
not wrong.
We want to rebuild the World Trade Center as the World Trade Center, but better. A little bit taller, a lot stronger, just plain better.
Yeah.
Boo. Yeah, so that's basically it. But yeah, so Belly of an Architect is like a movie about an architect who's sort of like spearheading a retrospective of the 18th century architect Etienne Louis Boulet, who is like a big influence on Albert Speer, and whose like reputation is kind of like was like retrospectively kind of like tarnished because of his association with Speer. But it's also basically just like about a guy having like a protracted psychosexual meltdown in Rome.
That was the same guy who did The Cook.
I got a delivery for a
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill
this.
Let me see if I can.
6232 Malaga court.
Wow.
I like that we're getting full adjectives now. But yeah, that's the guy who did like Drowning.
For anyone who's trying to follow Sad Gatto and just kill him,
Yeah.
this is really valuable information. You're getting up to the second info.
But yeah, this guy is the guy who did like
Drowning by Numbers, yeah.
Z and Two Knots, Cook, Thief, Wife, Lover.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this movie rocks though.
A man at the top of his profession.
This moment is very sweet indeed.
Rome is his latest conquest. But getting to the top is easier than staying there.
What do you think of our foreign architect?
But Stuart Cracklight has an Achilles heel.
He's too old for his wife.
The siege begins, and the architect is vulnerable.
Over my dead body.
Not a bad prognosis.
I think my wife is poisoning me.
The way Crack Night is going, you won't last it so.
And a rival poisons his career.
I'm going to stay with Caspasian.
You've got to accept you've lost. You've got to retire. Gracefully.
Among the people of Rome is the story of man's desperation to save his life's work and marriage.
I'm an architect.
I just don't need you anymore.
Please don't leave me now.
Your stomach aches are more important.
Well, I'm interested just in the belly.
A new erogenous zone.
Brian Dennehy in the dramatic story of one man's destiny.
Architect.
The belly of an architect.
Yeah, it's a great movie. One last video that I wanted to show, and then I'm like done. Just check this shit out.
Whoa. I like the guy top right. I hope Mongolia takes over the world again.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
me too.
Mongolia definitely deserves it.
Yeah, and
It's
Africa, honestly, it would be cool.
Yeah.
I came up with like a concept for like a Fallout video game that basically where like the premise was that like only like the West and like China are like actually like destroyed during like the nuclear exchange. That's like the the whole like basis for like the Fallout lore. And so like Africa basically escapes like unscathed and ends up becoming sort of like insular like technological like superpower that just doesn't interact with like the rest of like the world because it's like they just regard it as just being like a barren hellhole.
I mean, China, we probably presumably would not nuke China just because Russia nuked us. So China and like Africa would just.
Well, in the mythology of Fallout, like the nuclear exchange isn't between the USSR and America; it's between the People's Republic and America.
Have you seen that movie Crumbs?
No.
I really meant to because
Speaking of, I'm gonna go get some more mozzarella sticks.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Hold up your hand if you ate before the stream started.
I'm holding up my hand.
I'm holding up my hand too.
Anyway, Crumbs is by.
But I'm not holding my hand up like that.
All right. This interesting director who did this movie that sounded like it was going to be really bad, but ended up being incredible, called like Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway, which is just about like
I'm back.
Okay, this guy in like cyber Ethiopia trying to like kill this like guy who is Batman who is running this like cybernetic drug trade.
Whoa.
And before that, he made this movie called Crumbs that is also in Ethiopia that just it's like a post-apocalyptic movie in Ethiopia that's just like what if like the rest of the world goes through an apocalypse, like what happens in Ethiopia.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like Ethiopia is kind of like the most goated country.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like I wouldn't go so far as to say the world. I don't know how I want to contextualize it, but like they're the only country in Africa that was never colonized. The food is great.
Well, to be fair, the Italians did try it, and come on.
Yeah, and they fucking failed.
Yeah.
The way that Ethiopia deflected the Italian incursion is that they knew that the primary way that Italians like to travel is through sewage systems.
It just came out the oven.
So they just devised a very convoluted.
Yo, Sagato talking about my Moz sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they knew that Italians could be distracted easily by pizza.
Yeah, they basically
And
just
mozzarella sticks.
positioned
women.
at every strategic point in Ethiopia. They positioned one Ethiopian man wearing a little mushroom cap, who just told Mussolini, "Oh, I'm sorry, the president of Ethiopia is in another castle. You'll have to go there to accept his conditions of surrender."
Yeah.
Here's a trailer for it. It just sounds really similar to your idea, I think. Or it's mining the same sort of vein. I don't know.
Did you put it in interrogation? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I just did. I don't know. This director feels really underrated to me because I feel like nobody else is really doing this sort of thing.
These mod sticks are hitting right now.
That's so based.
يا بولينግ ማሽኑ ግን ማንም ሳይነካው መስራቱ ግራ የሚያጋባ ነገር ነው። የሆነ ትልቅ የስበት ኃይል እኮ ወደሱ የተነጣጠረ ነገር ነው የሚመስለው። ምናልባት የሆነ ሰው መልእክት እየላከልን ቢሆንስ?
Damn, this looks sick.
They're amazing.
Yeah, like all of his movies like star that guy.
Whoa. Yeah, this looks fucking rad.
This looks absolutely sick. Holy shit.
I also wicked recommend Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway. It's really good. Yeah, and
that looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks so good. Damn.
When I watched the other movie, I felt like this director is like feels like the sort of person that really should be talked about more.
Yeah. That was
so sick. Honestly, this kind of like seeing that trailer sort of points out like the sort of like limitations.
Yeah.
Even of like like production companies like A24, because like nothing that gay ass fucking company put out like ever like is
all
like cool as that fucking movie looks like.
Yeah, they've never once made anything anywhere near that cool. Yeah, I mean, but that's
Well,
that's sick.
So I want to wrap up in just like a second, but does anyone have like any thoughts about The Target Is Your Brain before we close up? I like that it included shit about like MK Ultra back when that stuff was like kind of like still like quasi like like classified. Yeah, that feels like it seems like they must have like had to have like dug that out from like somewhere.
Well, I'm sure they knew about it.
Yeah. The other thing that I aspect of it that I appreciated is that I feel like there's this kind of like sense in the West that like it was always sort of like that like the USSR was always sort of like destined to fail. And like the cool thing about that documentary made it seem like it was really like anybody's game, like which like ideology was actually going to like win out in the game. It just sort of like depended on like who was going to like do like the deep state game better and whose like resources were going to like allow them to sort of like survive longer than like the other ideological body.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like it's also just kind of like another sort of on a related strain, like I think it's like a little more obvious or whatever, since there was like propaganda warfare in both directions, but like just like obviously USA like loved to like push the view that like they were the freedom lovers, and it's like like whatever, like Radio Free Europe is like portrayed here as a thing that was meant to, whatever, educate or like liberate people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, that was like the one
also
of the
nice
more
to see,
interesting
like,
aspects of like the documentary was that saying sort of like they say that they like have like freedom, but look at what like their freedom, look at like what they have to like to do in exchange for quote unquote like freedom. It's like very.
There's a dynamic that I kept thinking about during this too, which is like the way propaganda ends up working is that like if this was a time when MK Ultra was classified, if Americans watched this, it's just like they would be like, "Oh, this documentary is just propaganda."
Yeah.
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 And it's kind of, it's not propaganda,
right,
but it is analyzing other propaganda, and that analysis itself becomes propaganda and can then be completely disregarded.
Well, that's why it's like interesting to like kind of view like, or like have a like dialectical like view of propaganda, which like I feel like that's like the kind of repeat we have with like Russian Facebook hackers, whatever the fuck, like boomers like absolutely fucking cream their pants like talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
is
If you
that
ever disagree with someone, they are a Russian bot.
yeah, to like a certain to like a certain type of like boomer or whatever. And it's like it's interesting because it's like a repeat of that, where it's like, well, doesn't that just mean that like we're losing the propaganda battle and we're like all like salty about it or something? Because like it's always, and it's like it's interesting. I mean, because like some of these people I talk to, and they'll be like, like, oh, we need to like redouble our efforts, and it's like, wait, doesn't that just mean so? Like, what you're saying then is that we're losing, right? Because like they'll be like, we need to redouble our efforts, and it's like, okay, so we need to redouble our efforts because they're doing better, so we're losing. So what you're complaining about is that we're losing, not that they're doing something objectionable. And like sometimes people I talk to who say that will be like, yeah, exactly, which is kind of interesting to me, because like then it's like, oh, well, that's kind of, I mean, honestly, it's kind of interesting that like some of them think of it that way, where like honestly that is more accurate, but they like haven't like evaluated whether maybe like our propaganda is like wrong and stupid. But like, I mean, like regardless of like whatever like you want to say about like how perfect like Putin's Russia is or whatever, like it seems like they're like, yeah, like it's a propaganda battle, but we're losing, but like we are right, like we're just right, and like we're perfect and they're not. And like, but like then others, like I feel like it's more common to just be like, no, they're like doing this thing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we don't also do that shit. So
I mean, yeah, that's the other like distinction that I feel like is kind of like overlooked a lot now. It's like the most like annoying thing about like the discourse around like uh Russia v United States is, and I feel like this is kind of like an obvious like point to make, but it's sort of like the weird hypocrisy between like the terms that they like ascribe to like Russian political influencers and like American political influencers, where they're all basically like doing the same thing. They're all basically just sort of like pushing their own agendas like through like their like relevant like political body, but like when it's Russians, you call them oligarchs, and that has like a negative connotation. And in America, they're
businessmen.
They're like businessmen. They're innovators. They're fucking skinhead psychos like Elon Musk or whatever. Yeah, there's like a more sort of like positively connotative like phrase that you attach to them, but they're all basically doing the same thing, which is that they're trying
all doing the exact same
to
thing.
like push their like private sector interests like into the government.
They all literally do the exact same thing, and it's really funny that there's a different like language and that people like
don't understand that it's
vitriol to like
boomers are so
that.
fucking retarded. It's like embarrassing, honestly.
It is really embarrassing, and it's embarrassing how much they're like stoked to like be angry at Russia again.
Yeah, it's like embarrassing how stoked they are they're literally just like nostalgic for like the Cold War. They really just like want to like start like a new Cold War for literally no fucking reason.
It's so cool. They like literally just like forgot the fact that like there was a while where we were just like committing like genocides in like the Middle East, and then like are just like, can you believe that someone is launching a war on a smaller country?
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like phenomenal. There's absolutely like no like interest, and nothing matters exactly. There's just they've forgotten completely about it, and it rules.
I think it's like information working differently. Like every position you have ends up being this like aggrandizing like the curation of who you are and how you're advertising.
Yes, this exactly. Yeah, I was looking for this cartoon right now.
Yeah, I wanted to put that up on stream.
Wait, which one?
This was the one I just put up on the stream.
Oh, nice. Okay, sorry. Let me switch over. Switch tab.
Yeah, you can't see it right now because Lol is on Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, is that window still open? My bad. I'll throw this up too, just because it's Easter.
Yeah, it's fake Easter. Some of us believe in real Easter, Orthodox Easter. So I guess if you heathens want to go to hell, you can celebrate the Western Easter.
I celebrate Mormon Easter. I don't even know when you're supposed to do that.
Yeah. I celebrate Easter, which is about creamy pussy.
There we go.
I guess I'll go open YouTube so I know how to arrange my image so that they can.
Oh, you can just go back to sharing. I mean, we're gonna end this in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But here you got it, Dogstar.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's working. That all works for me.
And I have my accompanying tweet next to it.
Wow, thanks.
Would anybody like to read the text of this tweet out loud?
I was about to.
I think.
And I realized I couldn't.
I think you should. I think you should do it. I can't actually read, so same.
Yeah, I don't know how to read either.
Yeah, same. Yeah, now.
Sound off in the comments, Sectio, if you want to just type out what this says.
Wait, hold on. We never talked about burger warfare. So can you describe burger warfare before we start?
We did. We talked about it in like the middle. We paused the movie to talk about it. It's a warfare themed restaurant.
Yeah. So what's the most exciting aspect of burger warfare that I should get the most hyped about for when we have dinner tomorrow?
There's like outside of the restaurant is a giant robot holding a Stinger missile launcher on its shoulder. Like directly next to it is like a giant street art mural depicting like a Choctaw Native American man. And then like on the movie theater next door is a mural of just like the 100 emoji over like maybe like about 50 times.
Damn, that's awesome. If anyone wants to kill us tomorrow, come meet us at Burger Warfare. And if you shoot up everyone in the place tomorrow evening, you're guaranteed to kill me and Lawled.
Yeah, they have
that's not an invitation, it's just information.
Like I said, like all of the stuff on the menu has like a warfare themed name. So
that wasn't a joke.
Yeah, I can actually let me just like find their menu real quick.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm really excited. Well, what was the tastiest? Because you already went to Burger Warfare, so what's the tastiest thing on the menu that you've tried?
They have like a burger that has like pimento cheese and like bacon on it, which is like you can't really like fuck that up.
Does it have like slurs in the name, or is it like respectful of Koreans?
It's called the Zipper Head. Yeah, all the menu items are named after like the hard slurs that they came up with for insurgents in wars in the last like 50 years.
Oh man.
There's a chocolate caramel shake called the Doom Cone.
I didn't hear that, but okay, fried pickle. I'm not seeing anything that great.
Mostly in like
chicken, I'm bored.
Yeah,
this is disappointing.
Yeah, I think that this is like this must be like a new menu because it used to be a little bit more hard hitting.
Damn. All right. Well, it better be hard hitting when I go there.
I
I'm
love
gonna
that
be
it
real
says that they like support their armed forces, but it does not really specify to which end it does that.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about doing it is you can just say that and like
Yeah,
not do
totally.
it, which is cool.
That was
love that.
that was my favorite like theme in the like the post 9/11 era is you could just like, you know,
Say you
jump
support the armed forces.
you could just
Yeah.
like jump like a dirt bike over like a bunch of school buses and everybody
for
would be
the
like, why
troops,
did you
yeah.
do that? And you'd be like, I did that for the troops.
Yeah. I sucked a lot of gawk for like the troops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked a lot of children. For
I like blew up a lot of like fucking like weddings for the troops.
Yeah. I wonder if there are any.
Domestic or
I
international?
wonder if there are like any
Both.
mass shooters that said that they did their like school shooting for the troops.
Damn, that would be very like.
I feel like maybe Anders Breivik pulled that move, but I'm not gonna look into that right now.
Yeah, probably. What was I gonna say? Like something on that like train of thought. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was talking to someone at the dog park who was like trying to get a job in like advertising or something, and they were like, yeah, like this like company was like, how do you feel about doing Christian advertising? And she was like, what do you mean? Like do you mean like what's that mean? They're like, well, like, on a spectrum, like on the one hand you have the radical left, and they don't have any God in their advertisements. On the other hand you have Chick-fil-A, and they have a little bit more, and we want to be a bit more maybe in the middle or something. She's like, what is that like making like a she's trying to sell peanut butter. She's like what, like having like a crucifix or something like shaped like peanut jar or something. And it was like, well, I mean, like, yeah, maybe something like that. And like I was just like,
wild.
I was like, that rules, A, but like B, it's like also just like really cool that you can just like make a product like thematically related to something in a way that like is totally disconnected from like in any way supporting it, and like is entirely meant to like increase your like profit margins, and then like claim to be supporting it. It's like so cool. I feel like
that's kind of what we've been talking about, right?
Right. Well, just it's like really cool that like you could like just be like, I'm gonna make like a Jesus themed thing and then like sell it. And I love that. I think that's like great. I like love America a lot. It's
great. I mean that's the whole thing about like advertising is like brainwashing.
Yeah.
And the since all of the media companies are advertising companies,
right,
and you just leverage this so that no matter what, even if you do that, then now you also have the people buying it to take videos of themselves dumping it in the toilet or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's just the game you play.
Last question. So I guess like fucking Andrew from Channel 5 and
yes. Phoebe says cop flavored peanut butter. That would be awesome.
Cop flavored
peanut butter would be such a good way to respect the thin blue line, and I love it.
So like Andrew from All Gas No Breaks and Channel 5 recently collaborated with very very sus internet figure Jake Hanrahan from what's that fucking thing called?
Is that the perfume fascist or whatever?
No, that would be funny if it was though. Jake Hanrahan is the guy that does Popular Front, and for some reason they both recently went to like Poland to interview Ukrainian refugees. And I guess like the question that I have now is, does that put Andrew from All Gas No Breaks into glowy territory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, like as sort of like a follow up to this, like I know
as
that like
glowy, I can say yes.
Earlier this year or maybe last year, when the whole sort of thing about how like NPC Fest was like underwritten by like a big old check from Peter Thiel, like the dude that does that podcast Contain was saying like, oh no, I don't like take Thiel money, I like do my own thing, blah blah blah. But I like Jake Hanrahan of Popular Front is also like a big fan of Contain, and I feel like it's actually more sus that Jake Hanrahan would be promoting Contain than Contain getting like money from Peter Thiel.
Also, it's so weird. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like taking someone's money. That's fine.
Yeah.
What does get weird is when you're actually making propaganda for something. Like,
Yeah.
what it comes down to is like what strings were attached with that money.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Totally.
if you're refusing money from like people who want to give you money for whatever cryptic motivations they have, then you are just continuing to neuter yourself and your ability to have any.
I would love to get money from the Clinton Foundation,
Yeah.
from anyone who wants to. If the Clinton Foundation wants to sponsor Mother Base, we will take that money.
Yeah, and also Peter Thiel, if you're listening, we would love to tell each other that we're gay with each other's moms at your expense.
Yeah, I would
take Thiel money.
I would take Thiel money. I would take Soros money. As long as I can do whatever I want with it, I'll take anyone's money. Sure.
I would take Uber money.
Yeah,
please.
I would take
please Travis Kalanick.
Rothschild money, Bilderberg money.
I would love to go to Bilderberg.
Yeah, I would love Bilderberg. I would love to build like a little Harry Potter Bilderberg.
Yeah.
Oh wait, watch this real quick.
Okay, I'm
This
ready
is
to
a,
be
this,
done.
this is a PragerU video clip. Watch this.
That of all the countries in the world,
I
only
don't think I
Italy
can hear it.
I can't hear
doesn't
it
deserve to exist.
because you have it on the stream. Put in the window.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. 1 second.
Damn, I can't wait to finish the rest of those Moz sticks.
All right, watch this now.
That of all the countries in
God
the
damn it.
world, only Italy doesn't deserve to exist.
Doesn't what?
Doesn't deserve to exist.
Well,
yeah, that's true though. Damn.
Well, it's not true that it's the only one that doesn't deserve to exist. There's quite a few countries like that.
Well put.
The context of the video is like trying to like make a point about like Israel's right to exist, and you're like, well, what if people said that Italy didn't have a right to exist?
Neither does
Israel, especially doesn't have a right to exist, though.
Yeah, and now just watch this. This will be our outro.
Forgotten. Look away, Dixieland. I wish I was in Dixie. Hooray, hooray. Dixieland, I'll take my stand to live and die for Dixie. Away, away, away down south to Dixie. Away, away, away south to Dixie.
All right, and with that, thank you for joining us. I don't know what we're doing next week. But it'll probably be borderline offensive, and I might say a slur accident. But yeah, so this has been Mother Based signing off.
Mother Base signing.